Hey, what's up everybody? Back again for more informational videos. But just a tip for people out there. This is something a lot of people know, but on YouTube, it's all about the algorithm. Everything about your channel and your videos depends on math, basically. So you got to make all your videos over 10 minutes, number one, and you got to make something every day. That's how the algorithm will reward you, which is weird to me because in a way it's an insidious plot to make people more obsessed with YouTube and spend more time and put all their intellectual and artistic property up on there. So Google AI can steal it from you. But here's another interesting thing. The words that you say are all indexed by the algorithm because they're doing subtitles for you. So you don't even have to put keywords and shit. You don't have to type it because it reads it off there. So whatever words you speak during the video are now property of the AI. But anyway, fuck all that. Okay, the point is, today's topic is called individualism versus narcissism. Now, on the superficial level, these two may seem similar due to the focus on the self, but actually they're opposite, and I'm about to explain why. An individualist is a person who has faith in themselves and believes in their own ability to make moral decisions and creative decisions and ethical decisions and to provide all their own needs. Whereas a narcissist is kind of the opposite. They're focused on themselves also, but they're in constant need of attention and energy from others. And essentially, whereas an individual has strong ethics and principles and, is consistent and has integrity and practices all their values no matter what, a narcissist is kind of a chameleon because they will adapt and change and project whatever others will like in order to extract attention and energy from them. So this is how they're different. And what you're going to see, and what I've explained in my previous video on narcissism, is how our whole society thrives on narcissism. Without it, okay, so primary example, like what I was just saying, of how a narcissist is always seeking approval, validation, attention, and all forms of energy, obedience, and everything from others. Okay, so now think about consumerism and our consumer economy. Like the primary function, and people have talked about this way back, Marshall McLuhan and all these other people, our consumer economy and advertising thrives on feelings of insecurity and inadequacy. And how, and now the big profiteer on this is the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, oh my God, sometimes I'll be stuck somewhere where there's a TV on. And if you watch TV at all, it's constant ads for pharmaceuticals of this obscure, like stuff that's not even a serious health condition, or something that's a health condition that's created by the fucking foods that you eat and shit, and not by some deep, dire, like congenital problem. It's like, yeah, you eat shitty food and now you're sick, so now here, buy these other drugs that will give you other weird symptoms. Okay, but anyway, getting off topic here. So the point is, society is there to create a feeling of inadequacy. And one of the big things that I learned in college, one of the only really valuable things, was in anthropology, biosocial anthropology, or evolutionary psychology, which is big at UCSB and definitely worth looking into because it explains a great fraction of the things that I'm trying to explain, which is how human consciousness works and how human, not only their body, but also their psyche and their perceptions is a product of evolution, and how our environment has created certain software, hardware inside the consciousness. But anyway, one of the only valuable things that I learned in that, oh man, I'm already off track here. What was I saying? It has to do with feelings of inadequacy in our society. Okay, yeah, here's what it was. So in the evolutionary environment which humanity evolved, we were hunter-gatherers that for millions of years, that basically lived in small tribes or family groups or clans, something of that nature, but pretty small group. And so for any individual person, as you're growing to maturity and reaching puberty and stuff, there's only maybe one or two other people of your peer group in society. But now what we're looking at is everyone is in the industrial world, is in internet culture, where there's millions and billions of internet people out there flexing and like So males and females have this really hard standard to uphold because they have to compare themselves to millions and millions of people, and many of whom have surgical alterations, or who have been selectively bred for beauty or whatever over many generations, and most of us don't have that kind of advantage, so or then you got your professional athletes and supermodels and blah blah blah. So you can see this creates a really hard standard for people that are always comparing themselves. And then we got on the internet, especially Instagram and YouTube, it's like the race to the bottom. How slutty can you be, or how much of a vapid consumer can you be? And like, we're all competing to get likes and shares, and it's terrible. And the whole internet, I mean, if you listen to all these tech insiders who have defected from Facebook and Instagram and Google, they're telling you the whole thing is designed to do two things. Number one, to get you addicted through dopamine and serotonin fix when you get a like. Ooh, notifications. Oh, ding, ding, like someone's approving of my bullshit online. Like, that gives you this dopamine fix. And then, so on the one hand, you got personal text messages and calls and messages from people, and you got your internet shit of some random person that you never met, and they give you this little ding, like, oh, I matter. Ooh, someone noticed my Anyway, so the whole thing was designed, it's like a Pavlovian neurological feedback loop to get you addicted to the dopamine. And if you don't get any dings, you've got mail. You've got someone stalking you online. Ooh. Like, if you don't get that, then you get this withdrawal, right? So that's the first factor, is this addictive quality to it. And number two is, total narcissism, which I've already mentioned, is how now you exist in this internet echo chamber where it's all about you, and you got to post. Every time you buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's, you got to post a picture of it. Every time you go do something, ooh, here's something that will make others jealous of me. They'll envy me and they'll want to be like me. Total narcissism, man. And then and everyone's feeding into that. And so women are urging other women on to be sluttier and to be more materialistic. And it's like, on the one hand, you got this fake feminism out there. It's like, oh, you don't need a man, blah blah blah. You're strong and powerful by being an internet slut. Like, that makes you a better person. Ooh, you're so powerful. Like, it's the opposite. You're degrading yourself. You're making yourself into a commodity. You're making yourself into a sex object. And women are encouraging other women to, you go, girl. You're encouraging people to do that. How fucked up is that? And then you're blaming the patriarchy for it all. See the fucking insanity that's here? But let's get back to the topic, individualism versus narcissism. So my point is, social media is all there to turn you into a total fucking addicted dependency narcissist out there looking for approval from crazy retarded people. When you're getting their approval, that's a bad sign. That means you've sold yourself out. You've turned yourself into a commodity and a sex object. Why do you like, but my point is, don't feel too bad. Because everybody's doing that. Like, notice what's happening, but don't feel too bad, because you've had a huge technological fucking architecture erected to do this to you. And it's hard to overcome that. And because everybody around you, peer pressure is falling under this shit. Old people, young people, men and women, everybody has their own little custom segment of this shit that's been created to keep you in a box. And it works. It works on me. I'm fighting it every fucking day myself. And I study psychology and perception management and all this shit, and it's still overwhelming, because we all need friends, we all need social interactions, and it's like, who are you gonna talk to that's not part of this? That's why I try to move out to the country and fucking get away from all this shit and talk to people and interact with people who are practicing life skills, who are physically fit, who are out there breathing the air, doing physical life survival skills kind of work. Farming and growing food and tending to animals and, gaining physical strength and cutting out the middleman that's providing you with your life necessities and essentials by providing them for yourself. Okay, so this gets me back to individualism versus narcissism. I keep diverging in every single one of these, but it's all kind of related. So the point is, everyone's trying to turn you into a narcissist and make you think that you're an individual. Now, an individual is someone, like I said, they have faith in themselves. And when faced with a problem or a difficulty, they have faith and believe in themselves having the ability to solve that problem creatively and to come up with a unique personal solution that's appropriate and fits their particular aptitudes and their situation. Whereas a narcissist or a false individualist is out there looking for approval, and they're looking to experts to tell and explain basic shit about life to them, you know? And this is a flaw, this is a weakness. This is what makes our whole society corrupt, is the appeal to experts. Because chances are, if someone's labeled as an expert, they're actually some kind of Ivy Tower fucking elitist that has completely detached themselves from reality and basic life survival skills. And that's who you consider as an expert, because they're rich and they got all the clothes and they got all this other shit. And it's complete inversion of reality in that sense. So an individualist wants to solve their own problems, wants to gain skill, wants to improve themselves. And whatever types of like individualists and a narcissist might engage in a similar activity, like let's say bodybuilding, you know, for example. And like an individualist will be like, I want to become the best me I can be. I'm out here to, you know, to attain skill and to expose myself and contact people who are superior to me in these skills so that I can learn and grow. Whereas the narcissist is, I want to look good. I want to attract attention from others so that I can feed on their energy and get them to do shit to me and bolster my shit all the time. And so I got to look good and flash their, you know, narcissist mirror back at them to gain power and influence. You know what I mean? And in general, that's another key difference, is that whereas an individual has a strong sense of self and confidence and belief that even in areas where they may be lacking, the potential for improvement is there. And that whatever problems they face, they have the strength and the ability through hardship and struggle and effort to overcome that by personal effort. Whereas, and as opposed to being dependent on someone else to solve your shit for you or to explain how reality works to you. So, you know, this is a key difference. And so it's important to look at one's motivations and how one approaches the world and their belief system, you know. And like I was trying to explain, it's like everybody is born with ability to adapt, evolve, and grow. And that's the purpose of human life. It's not to sit here and suck resources to yourself in terms of other people's energy and get some other person somewhere to produce goods for you to meet your basic existence needs and cook your food and fucking grow your food and ship your food, build your house. Like, you can do all that, fix your car. Think about each one of these situations. Every time you're relying on someone else for basic shit like that, you're getting bilked. You're getting charged through the roof. Mechanics and dentists and doctors are gonna fucking rip you off, and contractors, because you have no idea what they're even doing. They can tell you anything. Oh, well, you're gonna need this hyper block, and then mumble some jargon at you. And you'll be like, oh, well, that sounds super complicated. Obviously, I better pay you $200 an hour to do that shit for me. And lawyers and everybody. Our whole society is based on expertise worship, fake expertise, you know? So to be able to obscure shit through jargon and clothes and these different... See, that's my thing. It's like that cartoon with Bugs Bunny. You ever see that, where the costume truck crashes and they put on costumes? And if Bugs Bunny wears their general costume, the Elmer Fudd will obey whatever he says. That's our society in a nutshell. And that's the difference of narcissism versus individualism. The narcissists want to put on costumes every time and look at a person, size them up, cold read them, and be like, oh, well, this person wants such and so. I'm going to put on this costume to seduce them and fucking capture their attention. You know? Whereas the individualist is like, no, I'm me. If you like me and you want to work with me and we have common goals, awesome, let's work together. Or if I have something to teach you, I'll teach you and build you up, because that makes me stronger too. And that makes a better society, you know? So we all have to think about these things. And every single day, no matter who you are or what you're doing, you're susceptible to this, and it can affect you. So examine your motivations, examine how you live your life. Think about how self-sufficiency builds your strength and makes you healthier, stronger, and more capable. And think about how this affects your motives and your daily activities. And so, you know, think about individualism faith in yourself and gaining skills versus deferring your skills and projecting them out to someone else who can now take advantage of you. So that's my talk on individualism versus narcissism. Thanks for everyone who's supporting me and commenting and helping me be a better person. Appreciate you. Have a good one.